Today we're going to talk about encryption. Cryptography refers to encryption as the process of taking information and making it unreadable. Well, decryption is the process of taking that same information and making it readable again. Think about that in terms of today's time. Fortune 100 companies have to practice encryption because, let's face it, if a financial institution loses a hard drive, for example, a laptop or even a computer gets stolen, thousands and thousands of people's personal financial information could be accessible to things like identity theft. Well, let's take that to your small business or your home-based business. How important is encryption? You might not have thousands and thousands of people's personal information on your computers, but you might have information that you think is worth encrypting. How much are you going to pay for that? Well, you can imagine for the Fortune 100 companies, it's a major cost of their operation. Well, for your personal home computer or your personal business computer, you can actually do this for as cheap as a couple $100s. We're going to show you how to encrypt files and encrypt your computer using a software called PGP. This is actually the same software that over 80% of Fortune 100 companies use to encrypt their software, but this is actually basically a home or business-based version of the program. Take a look here. I'm going to start off really basic. First of all, if you're going to be sharing information, say via email or FTP with somebody, I'm going to show you how you can actually encrypt a file. First thing we're going to do is we're going to create a new PGP zip. And it's very simple, a very easy wizard to work with here. The first thing it's saying is, hey, we need to add a file that we want to zip. Perhaps you already have the sales figures that you want to send out to the sales team, or maybe it's just a document, whether financial or even contractual, that you're going to send to a recipient. Simply what you do is you get that file that you've pre-written. We've got one here called GetConnected, very sensitive information. And we're going to drag and drop that straight into this little window here. And now the wizard starts. Basically take the next step. The first thing that it asks you is, what type of encryption are you going to use? In other words, do the people on the other side have the ability to read this file? First of all, if you're sending it out to, say, your sales team, they might have the same PGP application loaded on their computer. In that case, you might have set them up with a set of keys already predetermined that they have to be able to open that file. That's the safest way to send information. But perhaps they don't have that. They have the program loaded, but they don't have a key. You can create a paraphrase. Well, the last version here is the self-decrypting archive. Basically what this does is for anybody that doesn't have the PGP software loaded onto it, say it's a new client that you're working with that you want to be able to send an encrypted file to, you would send them this version. Basically what it allows it to do is send the whole little program with it, so when it gets to the other side, they're able to open and view the file. And the next thing it's going to ask us to do is create a passphrase. And this is essentially the same word that the people on the other side are going to use to actually decrypt the files. I'm going to use connected. Now, I've used all lowercase spelling of connected. You can see under passphrase quality, it's actually giving me a mediocre rating. Basically, if I wanted to add more security, I would make a more difficult word for somebody to be able to guess. Essentially, that's what that means. I'm just going to confirm connected. You can use a combination of letters, numbers, uppercase, lowercase. It's the way to make it the most secure, but I'm going to keep this simple for the purpose of demonstrating. And then we simply show where we want it to go and finish it. You can see down here in the bottom portion of the screen, I've actually got a GetConnected zipped file that actually has encryption loaded into it. So you're all done. Very simple to use. The other thing I want to talk about quickly is the ability to lock down not only files that you're going to send, but actually your whole entire computer. You can lock down your entire computer. You can lock down applications, maybe specific programs like accounting software. Each one of those are encrypted and require a password or a passphrase for you to be able to enable them. And quickly, the USB keys, for example, many businesses now using these to transfer information, like the diskettes of years gone by. Basically, when you put one of these into your drive here, and it pops up into the computer on my PGP Desktop, right away it sees that device and gives me the opportunity to encrypt it, therefore making nobody able to use this device unless they have that passphrase. It's called PGP Desktop. It's a simple software to use. Whether you use this one or another one, check out encryption for your business and keep your files safe.